All right, welcome back. Right here with clickmail.co. So in this video, we are going to be talking about areas of specialty for project managers. Now, I want to talk about uh, generalists and specialists. Okay, so on the um, side of the coin where we've got sort of the Renaissance man kind of thing, and he does everything. We've got the generalist, and it's like, yeah, he does all the things, but not really any of them are done really well. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got the neurosurgeon over there who goes to school for 150 years and learns how to cut people's brains apart and somehow not hurt them and actually heal them. Okay. Now, the more specialized we get, the more we filter out everything else. Okay. So, for example, with a neurosurgeon who's the ultimate specialist, if you have someone operating on your brain, you want them to be filtering everything else out. You don't want them thinking about, their favorite cooking show. You don't want them to have like the side hobby where they use, they crochet or something, and then turns out they've got carpal tunnel. Like you want them to be as focused in their whole life. You want them to be the very best their whole life. You want them to be neurosurgeons because they're operating on your brain. Okay. So the more we go to school and the more educated we get in one specific area, the less we're looking at everything else. And so people who are specialists are often not the best people to be running large and complex systems like a business, because you might have someone who's very gifted, let's say at web design. Can they run a whole team? Do they have the communication skills? Can they run the business? Do they know how bookkeeping works? No, you have to be a generalist to run a large number of different areas of specialty. And this is where the project manager comes in. A project manager has to be maybe what we would call a generalized specialist. We have to be a specialist in project management, but you have to know what it is that you're managing. We cannot have a situation where a project manager is completely unaware of what is happening within the team or the jobs that the people in the team are doing. The project manager needs to have a functional understanding of what each person on the team does and how that works. And if the project manager doesn't have this level of understanding, it's going to be very important that they get this understanding through mentorship, through training, through going and actually sitting with each member of the team and shadowing their work. Hey, I want to learn more about what you do so I can know how to help you more from the project management position. Show me how things work. Just, you do your work and just tell me what you're doing while you're doing it. And they're going to be very, encouraged and like, oh, cool. They want to know what I do. Increasing team morale, which is also, the job of the project manager. And you're going to be educated. So when something's going wrong, you know what each person is doing. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be the world's best. However, a good rule of thumb is that if the worst case scenario happened and that person couldn't come to work, you are capable of functioning, right? Minimum functionality is a great rule. So here at ClickMail, I orchestrate our teams. I train all of our interns from scratch. Many of them have zero marketing knowledge, and I train all of them from scratch. And I want it that way because I want to know, not that I have to do what they do anymore, but I want to know what my team does. Because if something goes awry and the project must be delivered, I know how to either hire someone or get someone else who knows that. And if nobody can do it, I can fill it and I can take over, and we're still going to be functional. It's not ideal, but I have options. If, for example, and this is a real life example, I need for the project a conversion tracker who knows how to create JavaScript tracking codes for iframes. And I don't even know what HTML code is. You're never going to be able to get someone to fix that problem, because the one guy you had who even knows what that means and can create event listener scripts, he's got strep, he's got COVID, and it's you and you don't even know what that is, the project's not going to get done on time. And that's just all it is. So we have to have a minimum level of functionality. Minimally, you have to know the terminology and the jargon so you can get someone else to fill in if we need to, so that you can create a solution out of thin air with your flexibility. Now, the more ideal route is if you're really going to be a generalized specialist, you're going to be good at project management and you're going to be good at it in marketing, you should be able to come in, sit down, and at least perform the task on a basic level. Not that, it's maybe even perfect or deliverable, but you can get things done in that person's stead if they're gone for some amount of time. So when they come back in, they can pick up and they're not starting from scratch. Okay, so this is what I might call basic functionality. So you need to be a specialist in the project management arena, but you need to be a generalist and be minimally functional in all of the areas of your team. And if we do not know, I want to speak to this a little bit more. If you don't know what each person on your team does, you are essentially incapable of solving problems as they occur on the team. And I have seen this here at ClickMill. We work with both Christian businesses, but we work with a lot of nonprofits. And I see this so commonly. We have someone in a business or on a team, and they bring in a specialist from outside the company. And the specialist comes in and the specialist claims, oh, yeah, I can solve this. I'll have you ranking #1 on Google. Or, yeah, oh, I'll help you increase your income or your products or services or whatever it is. And they just take them at their word because they have no idea how that is accomplished. They don't know about market research, keyword research. They don't know about marketing funnels. They don't know about sales tactics or how to write copy. They don't know any of this stuff. And they just hire someone who's making promises. They come in and they're paying them for 6 months, especially in the case of like SEO, because you have to pitch it. It's going to take 6 months to 12 months. How do you know if you're wasting your money? You don't want to show up 12 months later and turns out that guy doesn't know what he's doing. But that's what happens so often. They'll pay for whole website builds up front, and then it turns out the website doesn't work, and they're like, well, sorry. And we are huge asymmetric downside on the investments we're making because we don't even know how stuff works. And then we're really in a pickle because now it's way too late to figure it out. And we've got to scramble and we're looking for silver bullets. We're panicking because the problem has already been growing for far too long. And it's going to be hard to come back from now. So the project manager, again, I'm just reiterating the same thing, needs to be functional in the areas over which they are managing. And this is going to not only help them to mitigate risk and threats that come up to the project, it's also going to help you plan more efficient projects because you actually know what you're planning for. So if the project manager coming into a marketing role or just, in general is coming into that from, say, SEO specialization and they're coming up into project management, whatever it is, they need to start as quickly as they can developing some expertise, even if it's just a functional level in the other areas with essentially all of the available time, because we cannot run something that we don't know about. And so that is one of the biggest issues that I see in project management teams, that I've seen in businesses, in nonprofits, all over. And so generalized specialist, generalize in all of the areas that your team needs to know. So you know what you're talking about when you're talking with people. And when you go to the upper management, if they have specific questions, you can give specific answers, and you're specializing in project management so that you obviously can be the best at facilitating the projects. So in this video, we're talking about the mindset of a generalized specialist. We'll see you in the next video.